The United States' longest war ended officially on Monday when the last U.S. soldier departed in the middle of the night. The war may be over, but huge problems remain, including as many as 200 Americans still stranded with the Taliban firmly now in charge. Let's bring in Republican Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa, who is the first female combat veteran to serve in the U.S. Senate and is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Senator Ernst, thank you so much for being with us today, and we also want to thank you for your service to this country. And I want to begin by asking you what it was like for you as a veteran to see that photo of our final military leaving Afghanistan, and then to see the ensuing celebration by the Taliban, who is now firmly in control.
You know, Amy, this is very gut-wrenching for me. And to see that photo of General Donahue getting onto that last flight out of Afghanistan, it's very surreal. And I am so disappointed too, the way the exit happened, but also because I have not heard President Biden acknowledge the service and sacrifice of so many that spent the last 20 years of the global war on terror fighting these terrorists overseas and keeping our homeland safe. I think many of these veterans just desire a thank you, an acknowledgement from the president. Next, we absolutely must focus on evacuating those Americans that are left and those Afghan partners that have served us so well over the past 20 years.
And Senator, we heard from President Biden yesterday where he defended his decision, saying that his option was to either leave or escalate the situation there in Afghanistan. And then he also declared that the very chaotic evacuation was, quote unquote, an extraordinary success. I know you haven't had a chance to speak to the president as of yet, but what would your message be to him?
One is that during his speech, he was extremely defensive. And you get that way when you know that you have done something wrong. This exit strategy was chaotic. It was haphazard. It was hasty. It is absolutely the worst planning and execution that I have seen throughout my military career. So for him to call it a great success when now we have 13 families that will not see their service members return home whole. This is not a success. If that is a success, I would hate to see failure as determined by this administration. We have many Gold Star families that are hurting out there. We've added 13 more families to the midst. And again, he is diminishing their service and sacrifice over the past 20 years by not even having a thoughtful withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Defenders of the president say he inherited this mess, a situation that other presidents chose not to end. We heard President Biden pointing the finger directly at former President Trump yesterday as well. What should President Biden have done, in your opinion, with your experience?
Well, this is gaslighting. This is President Biden, deflecting. The debate is not about withdrawing. The debate is how the withdrawal was done. And again, it was haphazard. It was not done in a well-executed manner. What he did was withdraw all of our troops, knowing that Afghanistan was going to fall to the Taliban. He left American citizens in jeopardy. He left special immigrant visa holders in jeopardy. Instead of withdrawing all of those troops all at once, he should have allowed them to remain as we withdrew in a methodical manner our American citizens and those allies and partners that we have stood beside for the past 20 years.
And speaking directly about those Americans who are still there in Afghanistan, hundreds and, of course, countless Afghans who also wanted to leave, who were eligible to leave that country. We heard from the president saying that those U.S. citizens specifically received, and he said, 19 warnings to leave the country. What was your reaction to hearing him say that?
That is so disheartening that our president is placing the blame on Americans for not being able to evacuate. One, the country fell very quickly to the Taliban, and as evidenced by his phone call with President Ghani, he knew that the situation was very dire in Afghanistan. Two, he had promised those Americans that there would be an embassy presence, consular activities out of our embassy remaining even after the troops withdrew. That was not true. So essentially, he left our American citizens stranded in Afghanistan, knowing that it was falling to the Taliban, knowing that the Taliban was controlling checkpoints, blocking activities of Americans trying to get to the embassy, to the airport. And thus we have 100 or more Americans that now cannot get out of the country.
Finally, Senator, I understand that you and the governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, have talked about housing some of those Afghan refugees who were able to flee the country. Tell us what your plan is.
Yes, we are working with the State Department. The governor and I have discussed this. Members of our state legislature have discussed this. And it is very important that we are showing hospitality to those that have been so helpful to our service members. They were willing to risk all for our American service members. These are people that love America. They have many talents. And we would be happy to bring a number of those SIV holders, as they're properly vetted, bring them into the state of Iowa and offer them opportunity and advancement.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time today. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Amy.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.